Hello Lancers, my name is Liam Adams and I am the current Chief Returning Officer for the University of Windsor Students Alliance. I'm honored to be able to bring to you, the membership, a special presidential debate, which happens to be the only contested position within the UWSA general election of 2019. But first, let me introduce to you the Vice President of Student Advocacy, Admira Konjic, here to discuss the UPass referendum.
Hello everyone. I'm here to talk to you about the UPass benefits within the UPass referendum. One, it saves you money. A regular transit Windsor pass costs you $66 per month, whereas a UPass costs you $66 per semester, putting back almost $400 back into your pocket. If the referendum is not passed, this means that students are going to have to pay $95 per month for their student transit pass. This puts a burden on our students who rely on the UPass, and therefore will not have this service anymore. Another thing is it's community-driven. It's a student-focused service that helps build a progressive community. With the fewer drivers on the road and more drivers on the bus, we're doing our part to reduce the carbon footprints of both New Windsor and the Rose City. All the money invested into Transit Windsor is reinvested back into the community. And as well, it's accessible. Riding transit is inclusive of all abilities, giving everyone the opportunity to use their UPass. It gives everyone a ticket to the city from one end to the other. Using the transit app also helps you navigate to the best view of the Detroit skyline at Malden Park or the nightlife in any of our vibrant neighborhoods. Discover what's around you in a safe and secure method of mobility. On March 20th and 21st, I encourage you to vote yes. Vote yes for yourselves, vote yes for your students, and vote yes to make this a permanent service at UWSA. And if you have any questions, please go on the UWSA website or email me at Admira Konjic, Liam Adams, or Maria Hamilton. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Admira. And now, without further ado, we'll introduce Jeremiah and Donald, the presidential candidates. If you would please come up to the table.
Thank you.
How's it going this afternoon, gentlemen?
That's good. How are you?
Not too bad. So I'd like to give you guys a brief opportunity to introduce yourselves. Whoever would like to go first.
Hello everybody. My name is Donald Leung, and I'm a second-year social work student running for an election. I have the chance to become the next University of Windsor student president. Thank you.
Hi everyone. My name is Jeremiah Bowers. I am the current president of the University of Windsor Students Alliance, and you've proudly elected me for the past 2 terms, and I am asking you to believe in me again for re-election.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. We're just going to jump right into the first question. Okay, so the way the rules are going to go of this debate, it's not necessarily a formal debate, more of an informal debate, and I'd like to have some discussion as well. You are allowed 1 to 2 minute answers, and then up to about 30 seconds to a minute of a rebuttal if you'd like, not necessary. But okay, so the first question goes, and whoever wants to take the lead on it can go ahead. What distinguishes you as the best candidate for the position?
I got guts. I'm not scared. I'm the only one out of 10,572 registered full-time undergraduate students to challenge a 2-term incumbent running again for a 3rd term for the student government. I got guts.
That is true. When I originally started out on UWSA, I had a vision. I had a passion for students, for our student movement, and that has never left me. And that's why I'm asking for re-election for the 3rd term. My platform is focused on 2 things. 1, student engagement, but also accountability. Next year, we're facing a very unique reality as the UWSA with the government changes, and that will take bold leadership. It will take experience with the different relationships on campus. And most importantly, it will take connecting with you on an individual and collective level to ensure that you can continue to identify yourself within the student movement.
Awesome. Okay, so how would you improve the power that the student voice has on campus in opposition or in association with other bodies on campus, such as the administration, faculty, etc.?
Great question. The UWC has an interesting history with our administration. Sometimes we're together, sometimes working against each other. We've been fortunate enough to have built a good working relationship with the administration for the past 2 years. However, we also have a very clear understanding that at the end of the day, what matters is protecting student interests. And that'll always be at the forefront of what I do and the forefront of what the student movement does. We might have goals that align sometimes because the institution can be helpful at times, but there will be many times when we do not agree, and we might disagree vehemently, and that would be through a protest, like with the walkout happening tomorrow, or it might be through the ongoing negotiations that we have with the administration.
Donald?
Respect. Respect to me, in regards to the student body, is something like a motley crew. Not the band, but the English expression. The student body is a casual group of mixed people that come and go, who have different voices, different opinions, and different directions. So in my opinion, respect the people, let them be free. Thank you.
Very well. Okay, moving on to the next question there. What does democracy mean to you in terms of this role as president?
So, democracy is what's happening right now. Democracy is you watching this debate. Democracy is you attending an annual general meeting and shaping the direction of our student union. Democracy is me walking by and having that face-to-face conversation with you. Democracy is creating spaces for students and ensuring that you have the outlet to express your concerns and to come together as a community. But most importantly to me, democracy means having, it's living, it's organic, it's having that like actual relationship with students, and responding to student needs, and not being superficial, but ensuring that, again, you're having that ongoing conversation with students, and that you're really hearing them out, and that they actually have an ability to voice their concerns within the union, and that it's not a top-down leadership model, but rather it's a grassroots, ground-up direction from our membership.
Is it democracy if I'm the only one out of 10,572 registered full-time undergraduate students to challenge Mr. Bauer? I walk around with a sign. I have some posters. I work hard. I wake up early. I go to the people and I just talk. I go home late every day, rain or shine. I'm confident. I do my thing, win or lose.
Okay, moving on to the next one here. What do you believe is the largest issue facing students at the University of Windsor, and how would you provide a solution to it?
Term limits and limiting student executive pay. I really want term limits. This is a school. We need to give new students a chance. I also want to limit student executive pay because it doesn't make sense to me when other students are struggling to find a part-time job that the president could make 30 G's a year and say they're representing student issues. I don't get it.
So, what do I believe is the largest issue? Knowing where we're coming from and knowing what lies ahead with the government changes, the number one thing that's going to affect students next year is OSAP cuts. At the end of the day, when I'm hearing students tell me that I might not be able to afford an education next year, that's a problem, and that's the problem that your student union needs to address. So things like this walkout, things like having focus groups, town halls, educating students about what is the impact behind these government changes, that's going to be priority number one. The Student Choice Initiative is another thing. UWC is really going into a year where you have to what's going to happen next year is going to be a response to the new reality that we're facing. So there's going to be a new financial reality in terms of students can opt out through the Student Choice Initiative. And it's going to be about how can we help students see themselves within this movement? How can we make them feel included? And how can we ensure that it's not just about, there's a lot of things to fix within the union. There's many things to fix within the student union. But it is ensuring that we're advocating to protect the students' safer spaces on campus, and also ensuring that those students continue to have access to an affordable education.
Okay, as you both are currently enrolled in humanities or social sciences based programs, what specifically about your faculty do you believe enables you to best serve the students of UWSA?
Respect. Social work to me is about respecting your universe. It's everything. If you don't give people their dignity, you've got nothing. Thank you.
So I'm in international relations, and it's taught me a great deal about seeing things from the other perspective and like meeting the person where they're at. It shapes my thinking of the world very differently. I'm exploring different cultures, and then when I think of UWindsor, I think of diversity. I think of all these great cultures that make up what UWindsor is and what make up the UWSA. So I think it's my understanding of the intersectionality of cultures. It's the unique traditions of each culture. And I also think it's international relations really challenges you to step outside your box, and I think that's really what's needed. It takes really like going to a person and being allowed to have your entire mindset changed and transformed to really understand how you can take a new direction.
Awesome. Okay, so now both of you, I'm going to give you an opportunity to please explain the main tenets that serve as the foundation of your platform. Whoever would like to go first.
Sure. So my platform is based on student engagement and accountability. Student engagement because we can't run away from the fact that next year UWSA will have a new financial reality. We will have the Student Choice Initiative. We will have students that are strongly considering opting out of student fees, non-essential student union fees, because of the fact that they can't afford an education as it is. So no one's going to want to pay these optional student fees unless they see a reason to. So student engagement to me is all about bringing ourselves to the students rather than expecting them to come to us, and building those relationships so that students can really believe in the student movement and see themselves within our student union. That's going to be priority number one. I think UWSA has gotten by for many years because our fees are mandatory. There's a little bit less work that's done, and I think going forward, priority is going to have to be given to establishing that bridge between us as your elected representatives and you as the student, as the owner of this organization. But also when we talk about accountability, we can do all the engagement that we want, but it's very easy for a student to lose faith in this movement if they don't see that we're being transparent and that they don't see that we're being accessible. So those to me are the two prime concerns that we need to address for next year.
Sounds good. I like that. However, I am the only one out of 10,572 students that is challenging Mr. Bowers. Students are not engaged at all. Zero. We need more term limits. We need to limit student executive pay. We need more transparency. I talk about money. It's called accounting. Students love it. That's what I did. That should clear everything up when you look at the books. It's called transparency. So let's talk about money, let's talk about fees, let's talk about everything. And hypothetically, it could make a lot more things a lot more accessible, because students get to choose whatever they want. We are a motley crew. We're from different origins, different people, and we're going all in different directions. Thank you.
Awesome. So assuming that you potentially win this position for next term, what would you do? What do you think should be the UWCA's top priority over the next 3 years?
Term limits, 3 separate and very vigorous and different elections from many different kinds of students, much more marketing for the elections, getting people actually involved, all right? I want to limit student executive pay, and I want cleaner washrooms. I want to see cafeterias, washrooms renovated.
I think when you're speaking about the future direction of the union, it's important to face the realities of the union, and that there might not be a UWSA in a few years' time unless we take some serious action, and that all stems from engagement. There's no purpose to what we do if the student doesn't know what we're doing and they don't believe in why we're doing it. The entire role, purpose, the existence of this student movement is because students have the power to shape the world. Students have the power to shape their own student experience, and that's the premise of why we exist. Going over the next 3 to 5 years, the UWCA has been working on a strategic plan, and next year that's definitely going to be a priority, because we can't operate from year to year in the same manner as we always have. We'll have to be prepared for any new reality. One year we might have 50% of our membership, the next year we might have only 20% of our membership left, right? And that drastically affects our budget and impacts our ability to support student groups on campus. It impacts our ability to provide student services. So it's going to be about building a strategic plan that is around student engagement, that focuses on focus groups, on town halls, on more grassroots form of engagement, and also creating spaces for students to, in different communities, to have the necessary discussions and say, hey, this is what's affecting our community. How can the UWCA help us? And the more we bring students into this student union, the more we help them feel that they identify with it and belong to it, then the better off UWCA will be years from now. We can't stop students from opting out because students will do what they gotta do, but we can definitely do our best to ensure students have all the information about their union, that they know what's going on, they know why we're doing it, and that they have this tangible reason to continue believing in the student movement. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremiah. Okay, so moving on, how do you plan on engaging students in the future?
I do what I've always done. I go direct. For the past week, I have been carrying a 4-foot sign going from student lounge to student lounge, talking to people. That's it. That's all you have to do. Rain or shine, just go and talk. Ask questions. Give out your phone number, your email address, and just talk. That's it.
Yeah, and I definitely agree with Donald on this one. It takes genuine conversations. It also takes being approachable and being reliable. And that they have. You need to know that that I'm here for you. That no matter what you bring to me, you can be complaining about me. You can be complaining about the pay that executives make. You can be complaining about lack of good performance on the part of an executive. And it's about me understanding that you're bringing your perspective to the table, and my role isn't to say, well, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong, this is how it should work. My role is to take your direction and respond to that and make change based on your needs.
Okay. Sorry here. With the University of Windsor and the surrounding community being such a diverse institution, how would you maintain and promote all the various cultures we have within our membership?
So to maintain and promote various cultures, the truth is, there's nothing you can do. There's nothing one person or one organization can ever do with culture because it's alive. Culture is alive. We need more democracy. We need more people to feel safe to run for student government. We need term limits. If I didn't step up, there would be no debate today, no real election, all totally uncontested. So if you want culture, you need more democracy, more freedom. Let people choose, let people be who they are. Respect them.
I think at UWindsor, diversity really is our strength as a campus and as the student union. I think there's a lot an individual can do to promote and to support and advocate for cultures on this campus. I think when you're in this position, you are representing all people from all walks of life, from all backgrounds, all identities, and you have to know how can I be an ally, an advocate, and also partake in those traditions when invited, right? So this past year, for the past 2 years, I've had, honestly, it's an honor and it was a pleasure and it was a lot of fun to be part of the Sikh Turban Awareness Day, right? Bringing attention to that religion. Afrofest, right? Where it's my own identity and we're celebrating Black culture and what that means in Windsor, what that means in Canada and across the world. It's these type of things that I think a president shouldn't shy away from. I think culture is bled into everything that we do here at the University of Windsor. I think it flows through everything that we do. But I think there is a way to tie culture into almost all of our events. And there's a way that we can ensure that all cultures also have safer spaces to interact with each other and to promote and to share their concerns so that we as a student union can continue to represent everyone effectively.
Thank you. Okay, so we're going to move on to the final question of the presidential debate today. What are some new proposals and initiatives you would hope to implement if you were elected, and how would you do so?
Term limits, term limits, term limits, limit student executive pay, and get the washrooms renovated. I want cleaner washrooms right now.
So for me, it's a few things, but I decided to divide it based on my 2 platform points, so engagement and accountability. So if we're talking about engagement, I think we need to do more work to improve the UWSA street team, the Blue Gold Pack. We both acknowledge that next year engagement is going to be huge, but 4 executives aren't going to do it all, right? There's going to be a combination of work that has to happen from your faculty representatives and also from those who want to volunteer within the union. We need a team that's able to go out and reach the farthest parts of campus and say, hey, this is what's going on. How do you want to be involved? How can you be involved? Another thing I think is important is that our faculty representatives are out there, let's say 6 hours a month, tabling with students, talking to students, having those real conversations. Because yes, well, I want to do it all. I want to be everywhere on campus. I want to talk to as many students as possible. I have understood that that's not realistic. And I've understood that I have to work within a team environment. I have to work with board members that you elect who represent your faculties, who represent international students, resident students, and we need to be able to empower those folks to go back to their faculties, back to their constituencies, and have those conversations with you so you can vent and voice your concerns to them directly, and that can be filtered back up to us as well. But I also think it requires a lot more town halls. This year too as well, we started membership surveys, and I think those engagement tools are very essential in order to get a feel of what students want and the direction they want us to go as a student union.
Awesome.
Students just want lower fees and better quality service. That's it.
Awesome. Thank you both so much. I'm going to give you an opportunity for some closing remarks. Anything that you feel you have been unable to say so far with the questions list. I'll give you about a minute or 2 to go ahead and do that.
Mr. Bowers, you know what? I respect you. The times that you have been president, I followed your lead. I respect you. So I don't care how other people vote. Come election day, do what you gotta do. But at the end of the day, this man is a good man. I like him.
appreciate that. And I also want to say, when you've been doing this for some time, you kind of understand. I'm all about meeting the person where they're at, and I understand why Donald's doing what he's doing, and I like what he's doing. I like why he's doing what he's doing. I think it's important that more students do get involved. Before I decided to rerun, I said to myself, am I being too much of a gatekeeper? Or are we ensuring that we're building the next generation of leaders? And that's been my focus. It's been, how can we ensure that there are student leaders that come after us? Because we're not in these positions forever, right? And if I am fortunate enough to be re-elected as your president, I take that humbly. I take that as a significant privilege, because when I was elected, I was the youngest president at the UWSA, and I was up against what I felt to be the most impossible barrier there was, right? Myself being the 5th Black president right now, I acknowledge that was a barrier that I've been able to overcome. So believe me when I say that, when I'm asking you when I say that you believed in me for these past 2 years, I've not taken that lightly, and you can ask anyone that's involved in the UWSA. But I am asking you, all of you, to believe in me for one final term. And I do also hope and encourage that Donald will continue to be involved, and that all those students too, who feel that they don't necessarily have a place within this union, that they will be able to identify with their student movement. So on March 20th and 21st, I'm asking you to believe in Jeremiah Bowers one more time.
I am the only one out of 10,572 students to step up. What are you gonna do? Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you both for joining us today on this presidential debate. This is the CRO signing off and encouraging you to vote tomorrow, March 20th, and the next following day, the 21st, from midnight tonight until 6 p.m. on the Thursday. And please join us in the Hum for our results party at 7 p.m. Thank you.
Is that what it says?
Thank you.